edit. You can cut if you think that's, oh my God, that's too much.
No,
Exaggeration. So
not at all. Please.
yeah, so I was saying that, so during that time, as I told you that, when you're not working or you're a mother or you're a student,
Right.
your process, your brain is still working, the subconscious mind is still at work. You look around you, the social issues and personal issues, emotional issues with your kids, with the families, with yourself, and how to interact. You, at the process, at the back of your mind, it's going, you're thinking about it, so things are affecting you. So people always fascinated me, because this, if you look at the world around you, it is about people. Without us, nature was there, it's gonna stay there, but the players, we are the actors, we are the players. So it's all about us right now. Nature doesn't give a damn what we do or we do. The only thing, obviously it's inspiring, nature, obviously there's no substitute for that.
Right.
But people, how they keep changing, I enjoy talking with people, although I talk more. But I like to listen. I like to converse with random people on the street. I've painted so many pictures just from the coffee shop, or
Right.
I've met someone with a friend and I would take a picture because the person would fascinate me. And you can actually, the interesting thing, what I always felt, that I could always see through faces. That's how I felt, that behind the skin and the eyes, there's brain and there's heart. So I could get the pulse of the person. So that would always fascinate me, not the beauty or the ugliness, although everything has a beauty.
Right.
So people always fascinated me. I always wanted to paint them. And that's, and when I painted, the compliment or the remark or the comment I would get, that you get the soul, or sometimes they would say that you get the character, or you get the inner, or stuff like that in your portrait. So sometimes I feel too that with a twitch or with a twinkle in the eye, a slight expression, I feel that it's that sometimes that moment that sparks, and while painting, I feel that, oh, it happened, and sometimes I don't. And the interesting thing is that when I'm painting, when I'm doing a portrait, I didn't realize it. It was one time I love doing faces, so I would, for relaxation, I would paint, faces.
Right.
And I was doing one after the other. I was doing portraits, and I did Risham's portrait, and she's an artist too from NCA, and I wasn't really happy what I did, and I was so exhausted, and it was late into the night, and then it was very late. I'm an early sleeper, but I just painted a canvas with, just doodle. And while I was doing it, it was so relaxing, therapeutic, and like I felt that I'm unwinding myself. That's when I realized that painting portraits is emotionally exhausted, because I do get involved. I feel that I have a relationship with that person, the one that I'm looking at on the picture, on the photograph, and I'm trying to kind of suck the soul and try to put it on the painting. And if I don't get there, it's so frustrating. With Risham, I didn't enjoy doing it. I didn't like it, and it was so frustrating, exhausting. And I did the painting up, and then I said, okay, I need to take breaks after I do portraits. So that was interesting, that I learned from my own experience. I didn't know that. I thought I just enjoy doing it, but I do get exhausted. I do feel like lying down and just either reading or sleeping or doing something else. Yeah.
How
So
amazing. So like what you've just described to me is that it's not just about like, first of all, your work is so beautiful. So like, it's like I've been meaning to try and like, explore my relationship with color theory. And I feel like you are such an, like, just the piece behind you is so gorgeous. Like the ochres and the blues are just like beautiful. So, thank you for doing the work that you do. I want to ask, like, it sounds to me that the journey that you've explained, your relationship with the person that you're painting, you're discovering things about yourself through that experience. You're saying that, I do get exhausted after having done this. This is like a, monumental moment for me where I go like, boop, this is great. Or like, something like, oh my God, like this is and not a struggle, but like a progress, like, so to your point before, the journey that you go on, do you feel like that is true for every portrait or every piece of art that pursue?
um, okay, let me tell you, some features are just some faces. Like I looked at your picture, I could draw you. I already, and I thought that I'm going to draw you. Like on YouTube, on TV channel, on news channel, I click the picture. If a face fascinate me,
Wow.
features or personality, I could immediately paint in my head. If I can paint it, I know what I'm going to pour on that paper.
Wow.
So some I paint, and if I, as you said, that moment, monumental moment,
Right.
sometimes I'm able to put that on the paper, and it happens, and I'm like, yeah, this is. And when I get the reassurance, when someone else also points that particular thing, that then it's so satisfying and rewarding. And um, it's that internal happiness that I don't know, I want to share, but I don't know how can
Right.
I share it with someone, that, oh my God, I want to hug that person if that person sees that thing, that,
Wow.
so it's like a stereotype thing, but it's like your baby, when you try, babies starts walking or does something nice and someone appreciates, it's like that. But uh, it's not always exhausting.
Hmm.
It sometimes very invigorating. It gives energy when it turns out good. But I still do get exhausted, but that exhaustion is not out of frustration, but out of like the, when you get such positive energy,
Right.
even then you can get
Right.
exhausted.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah, labor of love, you're right.
Right.
So portraits, so it's not always frustrating, or but yes, it is exhausting. It
Right.
is always exhausting, and I realized it, that I have to take some break, otherwise I stop my connection. I feel that my connection with the portrait breaks if I don't take a step back and give it some time, and then I go back and see from the new. I think I get too close with that person or with that character, that it gets hard for me to separate myself from the person.
Right.
So that, yeah, so that struggle I feel I get within myself. So that's how I feel when I paint too many portraits one after the other. And I never say, that's another thing, I never say no. If whoever, I'm like, okay, I'll paint, but I don't know when,
Right.
but I will. So I have the list. There's so many, and even people I don't know on Instagram, they're like, you would paint? I said, okay, but I don't know when.
That is, but you're staying true to yourself. And I love that answer. You're like, yes, but I don't know when. And I feel like that's like, I feel like that's a tool on your palette. That's originality. You're not just like cranking out portraits.
Yeah.
And that actually leads me to, more questions down the line about like, what is your view on doing art for the sake of art when I can do it?
Mhm.
Versus like I must complete like 15 pieces by the end of this month because this needs to go out.
Yes, that is very important, heavy loaded question, because I don't know the answer. And honestly, the culture, the narrative, the understanding, and and how the actually how art is looked at as a business, so how do you value? Do you want to paint just to make, because people don't know if I'm just painting or if I'm painting honestly.
Right.
I'm being honest with myself. So if I want to sell like 15 paintings, then I would just, without thinking, I'll detach myself and I'll paint and get some money. That is one thing. But then how do you draw the line? Do you, if that is your business, and if obviously you have to sell, that's fine. But if you're doing art, if you are doing for yourself, then it is important. And for me, it is important. Sometimes I think about, how Sadhgan would paint. Even Dure painted initially. She's very honest with her work too, very honest. And I feel we actually talk that I just, you, how should I say that, we stay honest. And at the same time, if someone, like if you would ask me, or someone would ask me out of likeness or love, or really they value your art,
Right.
then you do want to paint for that person, because that person has valued what you're doing. It doesn't have a price, but it has a value which the person is recognizing. So I don't so far, I don't feel honest with my work if I would just paint to submit and to get money. Obviously, who hates money?
Right.
But I don't think that I would. I will be very uncomfortable if I did it.
Right.
I would be very but I don't know what life brings you. Maybe one day I would have to.
Right.
I hope never, but yeah, then it's not internal satisfaction. You don't find that.
Right.
Then, yeah, so that's why I think it is very important for me that I have the connection, and I always paint when for the detached thing, I do have graphic design. I
Right.
can still do it when the client is happy, do it for them. And even if you don't like it, you can like get angry, upset. But yeah, but
Those rounds of revisions.
yeah.
I
So
hear you.
yeah, so but with art, I don't think that. And I if I don't like it, I would tell them, and I would say that, it's not the best thing. It's not what I wanted to do.
Right.
But if you don't like it, I'll try again. Well, without saying I would try again. If I don't like the piece, I would do like the portraits, the commission portraits. If I don't like it, I would, because I want to be happy too. When I do something,
Right.
it's very important that I am happy too. So yeah, there are many that I had to do 2 times, because I didn't enjoy it. I do have the complete. Uh, so for one time, I'm also a board member. Um, and it's an advertising. It's like a design platform. So we had annual event, and we were giving door prizes,
Mhm.
and for that, a lady won a prize, and I said I'll do the portrait, and I
Okay.
did the portrait, and it was good, but I wasn't happy. I redid it, and so I have both ones. So the one that I didn't like, I still have it, but I gave her the one that I actually liked. So yeah, I want to stay honest, like it's my own thing. So if people understand or recognize, that's different.
Right.
I'm not seeking for that, but for myself, I want to stay honest. Yeah.
Oh, that is so amazing and so refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
Because, like, to your point before, like, if you choose to pursue that journey in any point of your life, as you said so rightly, and I think that's my favorite quote of the year, even on your deathbed, you have the ability to innovate. I completely agree. Um, so it kind of actually makes me want to backtrack and ask you the question that, like, you are an artist. Your sister is an artist. I'm not sure if you do you have more sisters, you said?
Yeah. So I have a younger sister. She's an artist too. The youngest, she's a sculptor. She actually teaches at NCA.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so, and my oldest sister, she's actually an artist too. She does calligraphy,
Right.
and but she did her master's in child psychology. But
Wow.
her painting, her drawings, Dure and my older sister, they started painting, going to Chakeli Museum for the classes together.
Right.
And my older one was far better in watercolor and drawing, but then she didn't pursue it.
Right.
But yeah, she's an artist too. She does calligraphy.
How amazing. And so, like, what, I because this is what fascinates me, and we were talking about this a little bit before. you
Mhm.
know my parents, they were like, okay, go explore, and like do that. How was that process for you, like? Because I'm really curious to hear, as like, especially my friends and some other young artists that I've talked to for Rung have said that it was a kind of a process to tell my parents that, what, this is what I'm gonna do with my life. So,
Ah.
you know what was that like for you?
So that's another very interesting answer, I would say, I would give,
Right.
a very interesting question, because so I have a large family, both from my mother and from my father's side. And from my mother's side, all of them are artists. Either no one actually went to, except for one of my khalas, my mother's sister. She's an artist. She did three masters from Punjab University, fine arts, English literature, and philosophy. So she was an artist. But other than that, my mother could draw, although she didn't go to. But she would draw faces, eyes. Her drawing was amazing. My mother's, I have plenty of mamus and khalas. Many mamus, almost all, they could draw, they would paint. They didn't get any formal education, but they all could draw, paint,
Wow.
or they write. So I think that gene, my mother's side had that gene. So we saw that in my father's side too. They weren't into painting, but they were into, like, fashion. They didn't go. No one went to art school for photography. One had a tailor shop, and can you believe it that it's very interesting. I don't know if you would be able to relate to it or not. Probably your father or mother could. That, the like, second-hand shop. We had Landa. I'm sure your father would know. He went
Right.
to a university. So my taya would buy like Western suits from Landa, and he would get the cutting
Right.
and would have his suits stitched on that pattern. And among, like, his friends, they would borrow his suits because they were fit so well, and he would copy the pattern and stuff. So and he was an actor too. He acted in one of the movies, Pakistani movies. So I think that germ was there in the family, although no one really pursued it formally.
Right.
So, to your question, it wasn't a struggle. It was actually, uh, um, it was our second nature.
Wow.
We were just all into art. So art, language, that vocabulary was familiar to all of us. So we didn't have to struggle for
Right.
that. So, and I realized it. So we all could just draw. Dure was the best one, because she's a true artist. She was very little, and since she was older to me. She was my role model. I would look up to her, follow her. So I would she was like my prophet.
Right. Yes.
So she was like from school, she would draw, paint, and I would copy her drawing and do what she's doing. But we all could draw and paint. And we never thought that, oh, this is something unique or this is something, special to us.
Right.
But now I realize when someone asks, oh, where did you learn? Then I think that we didn't really have to struggle to learn. We just polished it. The instinct was probably there.
Right.
We could just do it. We just learn new ways and just polish or improve or evolve.
Exactly. Just kind of like enhancing what you already knew from the start. Oh, that's so amazing. And that warms my heart. And to your question about like, thrifting or Landa, my dad has such amazing examples of like, photographs from the past and stuff like that. And he's like, you see that shirt? Yeah, that was like $2. And I was like, how? And like, well, in rupees and stuff like that. But he'd say like that. And I'm like, dude, you were such a style icon with like all these clothes.
Exactly, because obviously if you buy stuff, things are changed now in Pakistan. But when we were growing up, obviously all the Western things, we couldn't find it. But Landa sometimes it was great. I mean, all from NCA. There was a bus stop there. So we would catch our bus from there. So yeah, it was, although we all would hide that we got it from Landa, but we would get things from Landa. And so the wool would be so good. So my grandmother would get sweaters. She would like undo them, make balls and reknit. So Landa has a huge culture when we were growing up.
Oh my God. And it sounds like everybody that you've just like mentioned, I'm pretty sure I can count more than my fingers right now. Like, your mom was in your khalas and your grandma you just mentioned. So it just sounds like it is, like you said, second nature, if not the nature that you knew. Yeah. That's amazing. And so like, as you went into your formal learning, because as I understand you went to NCA, what were some, artists, or what were some like cultures or any sort of inspiration that kind of led you through the way? Did you see that change throughout the years?
So when we were growing up, General Ziaul Haq was the dictator, was like, I would say the island democrat, like the blue island was NCA. The red was, surrounded by the red Jamatiya. Jamatiya had hold on the university. They tried to get hold of, NCA, their operation, their admin and the control, but they were unsuccessful.
Right.
So when we were growing up, art was suppressed. But they were still like in NCA, like Colin David he used to teach here, but he was from the university. And Salima Hashmi, they were doing exhibition, within like the private, either houses or places.
Right.
But generally it was a kind of a downfall for both like design and the art. But when I left, the revival, I think, of art it's very recent, like 10, 15, 20 years when it's been recognized. Things have changed with the global, the what do you call, the technology with this IT thing. So that's another thing. So I went to Lahore College, where Dure also went, and Dure was always good in painting. So it was understood. And I was very precise and like Duray's work is very painterly.
Right.
And I would say mine was more linear because I was very precise. And in design, we had design class and the painting class and stuff. So in design, I was brilliant. In painting too. Um, so without thinking, when you're like growing up and with that environment, when art wasn't, I didn't really know. And I thought Dure is into painting, so I should go into design without thinking that I could also go to fine
Right.
arts. So I thought I'm good at design because I do design very well.
Right.
Although I was in painting, I enjoyed that too. Well, so I applied for design. And when in first year, I realized I was in depression. I realized that I want to go into fine arts. And, uh, and at that time, they said you can only switch if someone wants to come into, you can swap so I couldn't join. So throughout, although I enjoyed, now when I look back, I think it was actually good that I went to design because that gave me an added way of looking at things
Right.
from the design perspective, because color, spacing, and how you place the element, the composition and color.
Right.
I I take it from a design element,
Right.
and I enjoy colors doing, and I think it's a natural flair. Drawing just happened. As I told you, it
Right.
wasn't so much of an effort. Faces always fascinated me. I don't think I look at them so much that sometimes I had to kind of, I realized that, oh my God, I've been staring that person for
Right.
so long.
You were
Yeah,
like,
sometimes I have to excuse, yeah, to apologize. If I was doing it, it's yeah, so it's like that.
but that's amazing. So what you just explained to me is that, like, choosing your journey and choosing where you want to go, having other artists in the family and everything as well. It was it was a very discovery sort of process for you, saying like, you know what, yes, this is a journey for me that I want. Do I want to switch back or not? And like making your own identity within like a whole family of creatives was in itself a thing. So but then you did it so beautifully and you continue to do it. And I have nothing but so much admiration for you.
Thank you so much. And that's another thing, that probably being an artist or a painter wasn't something unique.
Right.
Doing design was something novel. So I thought that, okay, I'll do something.
Right.
It'll be something, because painting, that's Daisy's domain.
Right. Right.
And she's the one. So, and the painting wasn't. So I thought, okay, I should choose my thing. So I think painting design is going to be something different, or my thing. And
Right.
so, yeah, but I think, and it's, again, I don't know how it can be fused, but it can be, because I'm doing another book cover for a writer, Pakistani writer, and the the Pakistani writer, whose poems are being translated. So the author wants me to paint, it's Ismat, not, oh sorry, Femida Riaz,
Okay.
her portrait.
I see.
So I painted. She didn't like it, even I. So, but now she's asked me to just feel free and paint it the way I was. So I was painting. I didn't know there was a middleman. I didn't know what I'm painting, what the author wants me to do. So there was like disconnect, and I was stressed out. I painted. It was okay. I wasn't really happy, but then I talked to the author, and she said that, read, feel free. So now she's given me the leverage, and I'm going to see how it turns out. But it's going to be design as well as the fine arts in it. So I'm very thrilled. I'm excited to do that, and I'll obviously post it with the permission on the Instagram once it's done. So, so design and fine arts, yeah, they can, as we discussed earlier, everything is actually one. Yeah, you cannot just separate one from the other.
Completely agree. Wow. Oh my God. I'm so thrilled and so looking forward to that one because, yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think something that you mentioned in there, when I myself, like, find myself designing something, and that's why I never understood it when people could just like design something on cue or, just like crank out like, oh yeah, here's my composition, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, but did you not want to understand the soul of like, why you're doing what you're doing? And what I love about what you're saying is exactly that. It's like, we as artists or creatives, we don't like red tape, and we don't like that tape of like, oh, like, what is that even, right? So I completely understand on a level, and you've had way many more experience of this than I do. But like, I want to ask, did you feel like did you feel any changes in your process or transition as you moved from like Pakistan and South Asian culture to here, to the States, and what was that like?
Oh yes, I think it was a huge change. Okay, so as I told you that we have a big family, and we grew up under Zia's regime,
Right.
which was very suppressed. And so when we were growing up, obviously as female, you are not allowed to do this and that and blah blah blah. Although my family wasn't very strict and conservative, I felt that again my house was an island from outside. But and I was the tomboy. I used to play with my boys cousins, and I had nothing to do with the girls. I, actually, I wasn't. I'm very friendly, but still, like, I would ignore them and favor the boys. We go out with boys, avara gardi, with yeah. So especially one of my cousins, he's my age. He was my partner in kind of crime in avara gardi. Well, Gawal Mandi is very close from, that university. And I don't know if you've ever been to Pakistan.
I have, yes. So we moved from there, but I was very little. So and actually coming to America and everything like that, there wasn't much of a culture change for us because our parents just, they kept us, I guess, like not sheltered, but we were never exposed fully. So talking to everybody now, it's like, I'm sorry?
In America, you were sheltered here?
No, in Pakistan.
Oh, in Pakistan. When did you come here?
We came here in 2010. We visited before. Yeah.
Oh, 2010. Yeah. So you were kind of lit, you were.
The reason I don't remember a lot, I guess, is because it just feels forever ago. If I'm being honest.
Of course.
Yeah. I was like 14. Yeah, 14, 15. Yeah.
Okay. So you know Urdu as well?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
That is good. Okay. Yes. I think that's the best. That is the ultimate, when you have the best of both worlds. The language. Language is a big advantage, Urdu language. And if you're, taking care of obviously the Rungg Gallery, which is, both ends, you have to know Urdu as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, for me, it was a culture change. So I was always the kind of a black sheep in a way that I had questions, and I wasn't how society defines the good and bad. So I wasn't that kind of bad, but I was kind of a tomboy. So I want to go out with boys, my cousins, and I don't want to sit on the motorbike with both legs one side. I would sit like, And under Zia's regime, now this is a common thing, but I'm talking about 30, 35 years. So I said, I don't want to wear dupatta for no reason.
Right.
So stuff like so, but we were such a huge family. And as I told you that, we were so many that we didn't have identity. So I was like nothing among 30, 40, 40 cousins. So even if I was the spoilt one,
Right.
the battamiz or
Right.
dheet, stubborn, no one would give me any attention. So they would just, even my mother, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to eat this. She would say, don't eat. And I wouldn't get food. So I eat. So we laugh, we four cousins and four sisters and cousins also, that सबसे ज्यादा कुट मुझे पड़ी हुई है अम्मी से ढीठ
Oh my God, we love a rule breaker.
Yeah, so totally, oh my God. Without realizing that I'm breaking the rules, but dheet was the thing that so and I could even I didn't learn how to cook, and I told, if there was any dawat at the house, any party, I was like, I'll do the cleaning. No one asked me to get into the kitchen. I wouldn't even step there. So nothing doing. So all these girly things. So when I after high school, I think I went to Islamabad, and when I came back, that was the first time I was wearing churiyan, and my mother was like, she's later tells me that I was shocked that what happened to you, you're wearing. So I was like, I didn't get my ears pierced. I wanted to be a boy, actually. Had I been here, they would have like mentally transformed me that I am a man in woman's body, caged in woman's body, stuff like that. But it wasn't like that. But yeah, initially I wanted to be a boy because I felt they have more freedom.
Right.
Freedom just to step out, do anything. खोके पे खड़े हैं, पान खा रहे हैं, सिगरेट पी रहे हैं, they don't have to take care of their body, cover your, दुपट्टा आगे करो, ये ना करो, वो ना करो, which was like, I was so, I wasn't like angry.
Right.
Maybe I was, maybe in my, when adolescent, probably back of my mind, I was. So that was I wanted to just, Liberty Market was very close to our house. We could walk there. And I always wanted to, in a good weather, I wanted to walk there, have tea or, eat something, just go and come back, take a walk. But in Pakistan, you cannot, you have like 10 cars and motorbikes behind you. So the first thing when I came here was that freedom of, I could just, how it is here. You could talk to anyone without, I'm very talkative. I would talk to anyone, even back then in Pakistan. So, but in Pakistan, I don't know if you know the quote, hasi te phasi. If a girl is talking, if she's laughing, that means I'll tell that she's ready to sleep with you. She's ready.
Come on, seriously?
Yeah, so you can always like delete that, but that's the mindset. So that's the mindset. In Pakistan, they're like, if the girl is talking to you and smiling, and if she laughs, that means phas gayi ladki bhai. So that was the thing. So I would talk to dukandar, because with dukandar it was a safe. Obviously so I would talk to anyone, but then they start harassing. They like wouldn't let. So when I came here, it was so liberating that you can smile, you can compliment, you can talk to anyone, and they would smile back at you, and that was very liberating. For the very long time, I felt that this is where I belong, actually. My free soul, I'm in that way very free. So that, but as I started doing painting, and I did my art history, so I studied history and the history of art, art history of our culture, that kind of took me back to my roots. And
Right.
that's when I missed the culture, the language, the everything about Pakistan. So
Right.
although I feel that this is where I belong,
Yeah.
in my in as my nature, as a free, the freedom that I felt as a person, I don't have to hide my thought process,
Right.
even if I'm, you can cut that too, but I'm not religious, I'm like totally on that side. So
Right.
so I don't have to pretend that yeah, I don't have to. So that freedom I felt over here, which
Right.
when I go back, people, I do understand with the social issues, and oh, that's very painful,
Yeah.
that subject. So let's not go there.
No, no, no.
Um, yeah. So when I started painting, then I kind of, I felt that that's where I belong. That's actually me.
Yeah.
Uh, you go back to your roots. So roots is your DNA, जो मिट्टी आप, जो flesh
Right.
जिससे आप बने हुए हो ना.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and I wanted to say one more thing about the culture, which I forgot and which will come back as
Right.
we would talk. So,
Yeah.
yeah, cultural change. Yes. So, another thing that I felt, that since, art, वो कहते हैं ना कि the poetry, अगर heartbreak नहीं हुआ, if you haven't, lost your lover, you don't get that, आपकी शायरी में नहीं वो चीज आती. इसी similarly in art, if you if actually pain brings that sensitivity in you, na.
Right.
So it, and if you're honest with your work, it reflects in your work, na.
Absolutely.
So when I came here, I was in California as well. So I went to UCLA, and they had their final a project, their exhibition, and I realized that um, that NCA's or universities' work is so much better than their graduates. So
Wow.
I felt that a vacuum here, that everything is so much in abundance here. People are not, they're not, they don't have to struggle in that way. Their standard of living is, good. They're
Right.
at a comfort level.
Right.
So they haven't hit that pain, that's spot, would you call that, pain spot.
Right.
uh,
Yeah. You haven't basically that I think the pain gives you sometimes a purpose that you can represent in your work. And I have a
yes,
feeling that that struggle or that like that emotional connection from like here to then how you translate it to here, what makes out of your hand, right, is something that is what you're describing is that vacuum.
yeah, I felt that vacuum. Although obviously good works are here on the global level, there are many representations which are amazing.
Right.
But when I in the college, the work that I saw, student work that I saw, I realized that our painter and designers are more expressive. They have much more to offer, share, and say
Right.
as compared to people here. So the cultural difference, I do feel that the issues they have over here is so much uh, later and far away from the very basic core issues that people in Pakistani students feel over there. Like for instance, the girls, um, boys wouldn't even know our pain, the harassment we feel over there, even traveling on public transportation, and it's so suffocating for girls. I'm glad that some girls, there is and awareness, but there's so much.
To
There's so,
overcome.
yeah, it's so multi-layered. Our country is so multi-layered, but now new good artists, good art, they're coming, and as you're doing a great job, this Rungg Gallery, I think that's amazing. So I was looking at the website, and and amazing work you have put there, and all, different types, it's
Right.
a one, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, my life's work or my whatever it is, it's insignificant. It's insignificant in comparison to like all the work that has been done. And to be very honest with you, like, Rang, especially as you were coming up with not just the idea, because the idea is, yes, and in essence, in a word, you can say it's a gallery, but it was really about, if I went to the Met, which I did hundreds of times, or if I went to like other museums in the city and stuff like that, I did not see work that represented from where I was from.
Yeah, you're right.
And I was like, this I don't know why. And so I went into art libraries. I went to the New York Public Library. I went, which is the library, or like,
Yeah.
right? And nothing. Not that nothing, but it's like it's always under an umbrella of like, other
Yeah.
South Asian or Asian cultures.
Absolutely. And the category of Islamic art.
Right.
I mean, why is what does Islam has to do with obviously calligraphy or certain, so many things that have done like calligraphy done by Christians or Jews or whoever knows the art of writing, so
Right.
why Islam and so stuff like that. Yeah. And I think that again, I lost the thought. So yeah, go ahead. But what you are doing, I think that is amazing. As you said that it's nothing as compared to what, but I think it's a huge step. We need to represent, our area or particularly Pakistani, because today at the graduation,
Right.
they they have they the inclusiveness of the diversity of the school. They named students coming from all over except from Pakistan, and I'm like, yeah, you have Pakistani too here, but no, they were India, and
Right.
there were many other,
Right.
but not Pakistan.
I have goosebumps. I have chills and goosebumps because like what you've just said, we understand that my graduation last year, this is School of Visual Arts. This is like you know, it's a recognized school all over the world. And I'm sitting there at Radio City and
Uh-huh.
I'm like waiting for my country to come up. And it was such a huge disappointment because I was like, wait, it's what you've described, what this country, what the United States has given you is exactly what it has meant to me, to be honest with you. um but now I am a US citizen, and so that umbrella, but to your point, that identity, that culture, whatever your culture or tradition means to you is your interpretation to have. And so that visual representation you're talking about is so important.
Oh
And I
yes,
completely agree. I
yes.
completely agree. And we love our Indian brothers, and we love our Bengali brothers and sisters, and we love everybody.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I am like, yesterday I even shared it. Yeah, yesterday I heard, what who Gulzar is. If you have seen Indian movies, he's a beautiful poet.
Yes.
So he said that, the India, and I think it's when it comes to people, it's not just India and Pakistan, but he was particularly talking about India and Pakistan. He said that let so someone asked about the difference or the hatred or whatever the division of India Pakistan. He said let people talk. He said I went to Pakistan and people were so passionate, hospitable, that it was I was embarrassed that they were like so nice. So he said that I would say let people talk to each other because people love each other, but when the government talk, they only show hatred, blood, killing, and the division. I don't know what they're doing on the top, because people everywhere, when we meet Indians, I have so many Indian friends, and whenever we sit, we have the same culture. We have, obviously, we carry the same gene,
Right.
culture, tradition, language, food, and that's what culture makes. So religion is a part of culture. And when before partition, they were Indian, Pakistani, Hindu, and Muslims, and many other Parsi, Jews. They all were living together, and religion was like a culture because it was our Eid, but Hindus would enjoy. It was their Diwali, but we would also do the fireworks and stuff.
Right.
So it was like one. And the religion is also, there's a culture. Every household has its own culture.
Yes. Yes.
So the division can, even amongst siblings, we have our own culture because the way we do things, certain things. So the government, they are making, I don't know what is the agenda, power, money, what's they're cashing on our psyche. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Oh,
they manipulate. They, everything's, it's like selling. Okay, and that's another thing. When I came to America, I felt that uh, America was like, I loved it the moment. But as I started to understand and things looked around me, I felt that America is a huge advertising agency. Everything is a product. Love is a product too. Every education, you pick anything, they sell that to you. Everything is a product. So there's this artificiality that everything has, it's packaged and it's packed and give. There's nothing organic. I feel that, things, even relationships are so defined and they are sold. How mother should be like this, kids should be like this, husband wife should be like this, which is obviously, it has good and bad both. But the difference I felt that from where we are culture, our relationships are it's multi-layered.
right.
We cannot really define that because she's my mother,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to or I'm not supposed to do certain things. We have dil se rishte hain hamare,
Right.
So these are the things which I feel the gap and alienation. And now my girls, and I tell my girls that I've learned from you guys, as you went to school,
Right.
you are learning, I'm learning with you. So just think that I'm also learning. When don't just assume that if I'm doing something, you inform me, you tell me that things are not like it's like that.
Right.
And as motherhood too, because I don't have family here, but we grew up looking at our mother, aunt, khala, huge family, dhir sare bacche,
Right.
how we were treated or we were raised. That's how I did with my kids, but it's totally different on a new land. So I tell my older girl that you are my first experience. I'm learning being a mother through you. So I don't know what to do. Every day there's new experience for both you and me. So we have to figure out, we have to come meet somewhere in the center. You tell me. So I came with a package, my own cultural baggage,
Right.
but I undid it. I opened up my suitcase and I said, okay, this is what I have, and tell me, do I condemn all of that, or is
Wow.
there something that I can evolve from? So I've learned being a mother, of an American and Pakistani, like the mix.
Right.
So yeah, so I think, as I said initially, that all those things, that experiences, it reflects somehow in the art, the emotions. And yeah, so
I
yes.
wanted to thank you for like being what you've just said is something that we even as like I don't really like to put a number or an age on anybody's thoughts or feelings, because I think that, they can be, it can be very boxing. But what
Yeah.
you said is that, I have seldom do I hear people from, like, other generations saying, I decided to let go of my feelings and the package that I came with, and I opened up to learning more. And I think this is a two-way street. And so
Mm.
whenever I, so apart from Rungg, which is like, my thing with,
Yeah.
on a bigger scale, I have a little podcast with my sister and one of our therapist friends, and it's called Log Kya Kahenge. And
Oh, tell me. I don't even know how to go on, but I would want to hear that. Okay, tell me
yeah,
afterwards. Finish
I
your thought.
definitely will.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talk about is like, it's not like we don't understand each other. It's just that we have never been, educated on how to open up those open lines of communication. And it's people like you who are amazing and saying that, you know what, I am learning. You're not coming as like, saying, I'm an adult, I know what to do, so you have to do this as well. But you're saying, let's do this together. And I think that is so beautiful. So I want to thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you know what? I tell my girls that I wouldn't have realized it otherwise if I didn't. I think that honestly, I think I'm I've achieved. I think I'm sensitive. Whatever I have a process. I do think, and there are many things which I at this age I realize that okay, that's how one human being should. I try to be a human being, right?
Right.
This is our thing too, and that I learned from my kids,
Right.
because wherever I hear or listen that the thing that hits my common sense, I whether it's from a baby or from a grown up, a stupid person can be 80-year-old person can be stupid, and I would just totally disagree. But my older one, from the very beginning, she was never a baby. So
Right.
yeah, and it's as you said, it is actually hard to accept that you don't know.
Right.
But once you know, just it's so liberating. Once you just let go of your ego,
Right.
it's that ego we keep holding on to, and we make our own lives miserable as well. So yeah, great. I'm so happy you recognize, and I think that thing. My girl understood that too. That if I make mistake, I changed uh, my convictions, and I let go my conditioning. It's hard to let go of your conditioning. So but yeah, and I think my girl understood that okay, my mother is also struggling, so I should give her some space and forgive her sometimes. So yeah, I'm
How-
glad, and I wanna listen to your
yeah.
podcast.
I
Do I need to
definitely
know something about it to log on to that, or what? How do I go about it?
I will definitely just send you a link, and
Yeah, please do send me the
yeah,
link.
I will send you a link, and you can hear it on, any one of your
Okay.
platforms that you like. We also have a small website and stuff like that. But that's we did that because you were like, oh, we have so much to say, and
That's brilliant. We know England has reached. We have so many Pakistani population, like the Desi community over there, that now they have a third culture. They
right.
have the say even in parliament, and so. But we need to, and we are growing. So
Yeah,
continue the good work you're doing,
thank you.
and yeah, the youth. That's another thing. I love youth. I love to, especially Pakistani. I talk to everyone. Whoever talks to me, I talk to them. I share. I try to listen. Youth is the future. Youth has the energy. Youth has the idea. We should listen to them. We should follow them with our experience and wisdom and knowledge. Offer them and let them pick what they want to, apply in their whatever they are doing. So yeah,
Thank you so much.
big like shout out to what you're doing. Carry on. It's so promising and encouraging.
Thank you so much. I'm like, I have shivers.
I'm a
Oh, thank
huge
you.
physical person as well. So I like you would have given you a huge hug. And honestly, I don't even know how to be an artist or what an artist. I'm just a human being. I do certain things, and I don't want any, the badge or the title or the
Right.
card. I'm just, yeah. I just want to add something good to anyone, even if it is to a single person. So yeah, so keep,
How Thank you so much. I mean, I've taken up more than an hour of your time, but this
because
is
I talk so much. Oh
no.
my. But I love talking to you. Whenever you come to Kansas, you have a house here.
Thank you.
No
Same
one
to you.
comes in the middle of, I call the tunni of America. You know what tunni is?
No, I
Belly
don't.
button.
That is so funny. Please, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so
same
much.
here. Same here. We have a guest bedroom. It is tiny but beautiful, and you are more than welcome here.
Brilliant.
And
Okay, lovely. Okay, when next time I go to New York, I'm gonna let you know, and
please,
we're gonna go to Met again and
yes.
different museums again. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Maybe
much.
by then I had made your portrait and I would bring it with me.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
I'm
beautiful hair.
I'm
Oh, you're beautiful. You're
oh,
beautiful. Yeah, beautiful
thank you.
hair. Love your
I
eyes,
was
your lips, everything.
Thank you so much. You're so amazing. I honestly like I don't even know what happened this week. I don't care anymore because you've just filled me with so much.
Oh, cute. Okay,
So thank you so much. And
take care. Say
uh,
salam to your parents.
I definitely
And yeah, keep doing what you're doing and send me the link. I want to hear what brown kids, the issues of brown kids in America.
I definitely will. And like my next steps with especially this is that we're launching our online publication through Rung as well. So we
Wow,
have
brilliant.
yes. So this is going to be transcribed into the most natural raw form that we've just gone through because I think it's the most human way to do it. I don't like journalism through
Oh,
like a lens. I like it as it is. So,
yes.
you know,
It
so
connects with us right to the heart. Yeah.
and I'm gonna send you a link, of course. So before it goes live, you review it and everything. And of course, nothing will go without your permission. But I
Oh,
wanted to thank you so much for your time. This was
thank you so much,
amazing.
Kinza. You take care of yourself.
Thank
Do
you.
the good work. If you need me otherwise, anything, anytime, just, yeah, let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once more. And congratulations on her graduation.
Oh, thank you so much. You
Take
take care.
care.
You
Lots
too.
of
Bye
love.
bye.